Have you ever wondered how to love someone deeply when they're going through a hard time? It could be a friend facing grief, chronic illness, depression, a loss, burnout, or maybe something they can't even put into words. You might feel unsure of what to do or worried you'll say the wrong thing. We've all been there. So today, let's talk about what actually helps and what can unintentionally hurt when someone's in a valley. Hey, lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Bolts. I'm an attorney and founder of Bolts Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Bolts, owner of Bolts Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the miss in biz.
Let's get biz done.
So Rachel and I have both been through challenging times in the last several months. And for me, I have learned more about what to do and not do in a situation when someone is struggling than I have ever understood in the past. For me, I was the kind of person who just didn't know what to do. I didn't know if to ask people questions or to check in with them because I felt like some people like to talk about it, some people don't like to talk about it. And because I just didn't know, I just didn't probably do the right things or maybe kind of didn't do anything at all. And now that I've been in those shoes of being the recipient of people doing things for me in a challenging time, I have a better understanding of what is the right thing to do and not right thing to do, also in a business context. So I thought this would hopefully be good information to share with those of you who maybe haven't had that challenging time yet in your life, and so you don't know what to do when someone's facing a challenging time, and we can just share our experiences that will hopefully help you.
So one of the most effective means is by sending a simple text message, something short, simple, that has encouragement in it, like, I'm praying for you today. That powerful little sentence can be crucial for letting someone know that they're not forgotten, they see you, and they're lifting you up. There's no pressure. The other person doesn't necessarily feel obligated to respond, and it's just a gentle presence in their day.
Yeah, and I loved receiving these. I think when people first hear that you're going through something, it's natural for them to reach out and say, is there anything I can do? I'm thinking of you, praying for you, those kind of things. But not so many people continue to do that over the course of time. And so those people who every few days or once a week or even once every few weeks would just send a message that said, just wanted you to know I'm praying for you right now, and thinking of you, that I really appreciated that. I appreciated that so much because it warmed my heart to know that they were thinking and praying for me. And it also didn't make me feel like I had to give some lengthy response. They weren't necessarily looking for an update, or if I wasn't in the mood to share that day, then I didn't feel like I needed to. I could just respond, thank you, and that was it.
Yeah, sometimes phone calls can be a little bit overwhelming if you have multiple people calling you, even though as the person who is going through the loss or the difficult time, they know that, wow, this person really took extra time out of their day to call me, to hear my voice, to really check in to see how I was doing. The problem with with phone calls is sometimes if you're receiving a high volume of them, it can be challenging to return them, or maybe you're not necessarily in a position where you're really able to communicate how you're feeling.
Right.
So,
or it might make you emotional to tell the story on the phone, and so it's easier to just send it through text message if you do want to share. I know for me personally, I have a list of unresponded to voicemails right now that I haven't gotten back to, that people who have called me to check in on me, but I didn't answer at the time for whatever reason, and just haven't been able to get back with everyone. So I think a text message is a good way to start the conversation, or to just check in. And if the person wants to talk more, you'll be able to tell because of how responsive they are. If they start to tell you all kinds of things in response to your text message, then it's good to say, would it be all right, do you want to talk on the phone? And if they say yes, then that's great. I appreciated the phone calls because I think that people perceive it as it's a more personal touch than a text message. So I appreciated that people were calling, but I just didn't necessarily want to talk.
right.
But I still appreciate it. Like the
of course.
The fact that they called meant a lot to me. But it was just harder for me to engage in that phone call than a text message.
Absolutely. The second way that you can really be a light in someone's life when they're going through a difficult time is to send them a worship song or an encouraging track. So music ministers to the soul. If a particular song is speaking hope to your heart, share it. Whether it's worship, instrumental, or something that just reminds them that they're not alone, music bypasses barriers.
Yeah. I loved this. I had a few different people who would send me worship songs from time to time, and it really meant a lot. Bill Umansky sent me one every couple days, it seemed, and just said, praying for you right now. Here's a worship song. You're a warrior. You got this. Something encouraging like that. He was one of the best people at doing that continually. Also, my tenfold group made a whole playlist of encouraging songs that they all contributed to, and that was really special as well. So sending music in that way through a text message, I think is a meaningful way to reach out.
And truly, we're supposed to be praising the Lord during the storm. And there's something so supernatural that happens when you're going through a difficult time and you just turn up Kirk Franklin and the Family, and you can just really let go and just let God work.
Yeah. Yeah, and too, everyone has those songs, I think, that we turn to that speak to us in our challenging times. But when someone else shares theirs with us, it might hit a different spot and become your new favorite song that you didn't even know existed.
Exactly. So what's one of your favorite songs?
So one of mine that I go to a lot it's called King of My Heart. It's an Elevation song, and I just really like that song. How about you?
I love Shackles. I know that was like the song back in the day, but it is still a goodie to have. And there's a bunch of other ones that I just
there's
can't
one
think of.
others that, because the King of My Heart is a more introspective worship type of song, but Shackles is a little more energetic. But one that is kind of an energetic one for me is Higher Power by what's his name? Crowder. And then my all-time favorite song is Jesus Freak.
By DC Talk? Yes.
Yeah, and Josiah Queen is a modern singer who just redid Jesus Freak in kind of a different vibe, and I really like that song too. So
I'll have to check it out.
yeah, but I wouldn't recommend Jesus Freak necessarily when you're going through a challenging time. It's not really that kind of a song, but wanted to share it because it's relevant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple, Spotify, and Google My Business are the best platforms to write a review.
2, follow us on social media. Our handle is @MissBizPodcast.
3, join our Facebook group, Miss Biz Nation, for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage. Also, ask questions related to your business and discuss topics from our episodes. So, in addition to worship music, sending text messages, you can also give gifts that care for their real needs. Things like comfort, practical help. What are some examples that you have, Brooke?
I loved getting gifts during my challenging time, and some of the things that I found myself using the most that were gifted or really being excited about was something as simple as just a real soft blanket. Because when you're recovering, you're sitting around a lot and you have your own blankets and things that you use, but something new like that, a new soft blanket, just was, I don't know, there was something about it.
It still has all the fluff.
Yeah.
It has all the fluff and the softness to it.
Yeah. It was, I really like that. And the pillow, someone got me a cool like backrest pillow too. And then a wedge pillow too someone got for me because I had to sleep elevated with my head elevated and my feet elevated. So this wedge pillow is like a triangle, and that was something that someone bought me as well. So it was something to just help with the recovery and make it a little easier or more enjoyable, and that was a special kind of gift that I appreciated. Also, someone got me their favorite chocolate. It was like dark chocolate cluster things with, I don't know, almonds and whatever, and loved that. Especially loved the gift cards for Uber Eats or for meal deliveries. That was awesome. My kids were so excited to
I bet.
to order out during that time. It kind of just made the whole house lighter, the fact that they got to eat something more than whatever we had in the house. Also, my very good friends in my neighborhood hired a house cleaner to come clean the house, and I so appreciated that. That was amazing, because when you're home all day and your house is not clean, like, I don't know, you're just thinking of all the things you can't do but you wish you could, and then when someone comes and cleans the house, you just feel so much lighter and happier. And then offering to run errands, I think is a great thing, like picking up the kids from school, or do you need me to drop the kids off here? Do you need me to pick up prescriptions? Do you need me to grab groceries for you? Things like that, I think are really appreciated, because those are the kind of things when someone's recovering that they have a hard time being able to do, especially if they can't drive. And like for me, I couldn't drive for a period of time, and my husband was having to do all that stuff, and he was just really overwhelmed with having to take all the kids to all the things all the time. So to offer to do those things, and when you offer, I think for me, if someone said, "What can I do for you?" I usually would just be like, "I'm good." You know, I wouldn't take them up on that. But if you say, "What time do the kids get out of school today?" I'm going to pick them up today. Or you just say, "I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to Publix. What do you need?"
Yeah, you got to be aggressive about it.
Yeah, you kind of do, because the person like sometimes when people would say to me, hey, do you need me to pick up the kids or whatever? I'm thinking they've got their own kids. They're going to have to pick up their own kids tonight, and it's going to be a burden on them. Even though they're offering, it's going to be a burden for them to have to pick up my kids too.
Right.
But if someone were to say, my friend Orit did this one time, she's like, I'm going to Publix. What do you need? Can I bring you a sandwich? Can I bring you this? Like, what do you need from Publix? And like, that was really thoughtful, and it made me feel like she wasn't going to necessarily be going too much out of her way because she was already going.
Right.
So I thought that was a really good way to say, hey, I'm doing this anyways. What can I get you?
Absolutely. I feel like acts of service are huge because when you're going through a significant loss or dealing with something traumatic, you're really not in the right state of mind to be doing anything. Most of the time, you don't feel like cooking. You don't necessarily, even if you can clean, that's not what you really want to be doing at that time. You just don't have the right energy or the right mentality to be able to move forward in those productive avenues. So being able to recognize that and just send the meal or send help or just show up, I think really can make a huge impact.
Yeah. So also sending handwritten cards or notes that aren't requiring a reply is something that I appreciated. Sometimes the biggest gift is knowing someone thought of you without needing anything in return. So a handwritten card or even a voice memo that says just wanted to say you're loved, no need to respond is really impactful. I love the voice memos too. Crystal Parker sent me a lot of voice memos during this time. And there's something special about just hearing someone's voice versus reading it in a text. Yeah. So, because she would put this emphasis like, you got this, girl, you know, and she would just be really animated and it would always make me smile. And she could have put that same thing in a text, but it wouldn't have really had the same impact.
Yeah.
So I think the voice memos are awesome because that's kind of the go-between between the text and the phone call. They can hear your voice, they can hear, you know, the emotion behind it, but they don't have to necessarily feel like they have to stop everything and talk for an hour.
She's such a special lady.
She
I
really
just
is.
absolutely love her. And then the other thing that you can do is just keep checking in, but with a low pressure love. So grief and hardship, they can be quite long. Everybody processes things differently, and the initial flood of support often fades, but healing doesn't happen overnight. So a text message once a week that says, still thinking of you, you don't have to reply, can really help a lot.
Yeah. And then if they don't reply, don't be offended by that, because I know my friend Kelly Tomo, her mom was sick, and there was a lot of times I texted her and she didn't reply, and I was okay with that. I just took it as she is going through a lot and she doesn't feel like talking about it right now, and I was fine with that. So and hopefully if I didn't respond to somebody as well, I didn't mean to, but I hope that you understand that whatever, sometimes I just would forget. Sometimes your mind is just so full of thoughts and feelings and all the things that you just forget that you were supposed to respond to someone or that a text message even came in.
I think most people understand that too, or they should understand that.
Yeah. So here's some things not to do. In all honesty, I have done all of these things before because I didn't know. And so there's no judgment here about what not to do. And really, none of these things are bad things. They're just not as good as the things we just mentioned. I don't think anyone takes offense if you've done these not to do lists. I know that I have, and that's why I wanted to do this episode, to express and teach people how it's received. But, you know, these are just not the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's important to put a little disclaimer there that says results may vary because everybody's different. Everybody processes grief differently. So these aspects are just kind of what applied to us when we were going through things, just to offer you a different perspective on how it could possibly be interpreted.
You know we're all about that case, no trouble. All about that case, no trouble. All about that case, no trouble. All about that case.
At Bolts Legal, we are all about your case. Text or call to schedule a free consultation for all your legal needs. boltslegal.com.
So the first lesson of not to do is a lot of times when people are upset, we want to provide encouragement. And what we will do is sometimes we'll rush to say things that offer a brighter or more positive perspective. So like saying things like, well, at least, even if you mean well, what they hear is your pain is not valid. Instead, try to validate their feelings by saying, this is really hard, I'm here with you, you've got this. That holds more healing than any silver lining.
I know for 100% that I've done this to people, that I have been like, let's look at the bright side. Let's look at how, what's positive about this, having no idea that it wasn't necessarily being received well. But what happens when I receive these type of things? So for example, if someone said to me, well, at least it hasn't spread, I know it hasn't spread. I'm appreciative that it hasn't spread. Like I feel that appreciation already. But when someone says it, at least it hasn't spread, then it's like, sometimes I feel like, okay, let me permanently disfigure your face and then talk about how at least you feel, because I think that the person, if they're truly not seeing the bright side of things yet, it's just because they're still in too deep of a grief moment, and it's just not time for them to see those positive things. But I do think that, I know for me, I was looking at those positive things. I was finding appreciation in small things. And so when someone would say to me, well, at least it's not this, or at least it's not that, sometimes I'd be like, yes, you're right, it's not. But also too, it sometimes felt like, yeah, but it still is really sucky, and let's acknowledge that it still is pretty horrible.
Yeah.
So that was something that I learned that I never would have known had I not gone through this experience.
When people would say those things to me, I would recognize that they were coming from a good place. They were trying to cheer me up. They were by no means trying to hurt me. But sometimes that may not always, what you're trying to be bright about might not always be the case. So for example, like with my aunt, what they would say was, well, at least she's in a better place now. And I would think, and I would be like, I really don't know if she's in a better place now. I hope she is. I pray she is. But then I would start thinking about that and would get upset, even though I wasn't upset at the person at all. It just wasn't the most constructive thing to say, and it wasn't what I needed at that moment. What I really needed at that moment was for somebody to be like, you got this, you're not alone, I'm here for you, whatever you need.
Right. That's really good advice, because I think people say that a lot. At least they're in a better place. I mean, I hear that all the time. I never would have thought that was a bad thing to say.
Yeah.
I never would have realized that. So I'm so glad that you shared that, because that was like a eye-opening moment for me when you just shared that.
I think if you know they're saved,
Yeah.
then that's different, because you do know that they're absent from the body, present with the Lord. But if you don't know whether or not they're saved or not, that can be upsetting.
Yeah, I can see that. So the other thing not to do is don't disappear just because you don't know what to say. Your presence matters more than your perfect words. So a quiet "I'm here and I care" is always better than silence. I know for sure I've done that. I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm just like, I just kind of get frozen and I don't want to say the wrong thing. And so don't do that. Don't disappear. Even if you don't know what to say, send a card, send something, do something so that they still know that you're there and you care.
Yeah, sometimes we beat ourselves up because we're like, I don't have the perfect words to be able to take this person's pain away or to solve the situation and make it better. So then instead of even trying, they're afraid to make a mistake or do the wrong thing, so then they just go rogue. So it's good just to be consistent, be present, even if you don't know what to say. You could even just send a Bible verse or something like, thinking about you, love you.
Yeah. Also, too, if someone is close to you, rather than just asking, how are you doing today, which how are you doing is fine to ask, but also I know that I got a lot of those questions, and so I was repeating myself over and over, which is okay, because people do want to know what's the medical update, and that's okay. But something additional you could ask is, if the person, has God revealed anything new to you through this challenge? Or is there any learning experiences that you've had through this challenge that others could learn from? I think that that's a meaningful question, because people going through a challenging time are sometimes looking at, what's the purpose behind this, or what am I supposed to be learning through this challenge? I know for me, I was very introspective about that. And so I probably would have appreciated sharing those deeper lessons or thoughts that I was having, in addition to just sharing the medical updates. So I think it's got to be someone you're in a close enough relationship to that they're comfortable to have that kind of a conversation. And timing is important too, and you got to do it at the right time and all those things. But I think that if at the right time someone had asked me those type of questions, and really my sister did, I think my sister asked me those kind of questions the most, it was therapeutic in a way to kind of share, and Leanne too is a good friend of mine, she asked me those kind of questions too, to share deeper about what I was learning through this experience.
And I truly believe it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you're already talking about God, then it's a lot easier to segue into that. So a lot of it does depend on the person, where they're at in the grieving process, and also how you segue into that conversation, just to gain a deeper understanding and work through some of those things.
Yes, and I will say, in a business context and a personal context, that those people who did these things, I will never forget that. I will always cherish the memory of how they made me feel in a challenging time. And I now want to be that person for someone else. I want, when they're going through a challenging time, for them to always remember that I was there in a loving way. And now that I know how to do that, I think that I will do it much better.
Yeah. People won't always remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
So the truth is, we all walk through hard things eventually. And when we do, we remember not what people said, but who showed up. So be the friend who sends the card, the voice memo, the chocolate, the soft blanket. Be the person who doesn't need anything back. Be the one who simply says, I see your pain and I'm not afraid to sit with you in it.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.